Do you believe in resetting life? Do you believe that you can push the play again button and start over? Are you in fear of death? Do you feel like there is nothingness for eternity? Are you frightened about what's to come, what we all must face? Or are you one of the gathered, the cult of the gathered? And do you believe that if you get a bit tired of this probation, you can just hit that eject button, play again, and it'll start all over, and you can be on another planet and another, life in a different time and space, and some pretty good things might come your way, and you don't really need to see out any of the retribution that you might be due in this life, just say you had something that you should really be afraid of, like going to prison for conspiracy or knowledge after the fact of a murder of children. Would you be really afraid? Because, this was going to be how you're going to live the rest of your life in prison, judged, people knowing what you've been up to? Or would you just think, well, this life, there's nothing to hold on to. There's no need to be attached. And why be anxious and frightened? Because you just hit the eject button. I mean, this amazing world, this miraculous world with all creatures great and small in it, you can just say goodbye to it. You could end up in another galaxy. It might not even be carbon based, but whatever happens, because you've just been really good, you've been one of these cultists, you're gonna end up with your own planet. And this could be very, very attractive to a woman like Melani Pawlowski, because she might think, wow, I can be this young tiger cub again. I can have some loving parents. I can live with a mummy and daddy who bring me up together. And when I go off into the world, they're there for me. So it's not a scary prospect for a cultist that believes that you just go straight into another life. And you don't have a fear of the Lord. You don't have a fear of eternal nothingness, that moment of death. It's a rapturous experience for you, and it's in fact something to look forward to. And if you were in a really tight situation, you might just know what to do to get out of it. Why go through it? You don't have to do that. You're better than that. And, well, you may as well take your kids with you, right? Save them from it. What is Melanie Boudreau's mindset? What sort of a snake in the grass is she, even to her own children? Is she going to cling on for dear life to this one? I don't think so. And what is her high priestess, glory on high, Auntie Lori, told her to do? Has she given her any advice? Has she given her any advice about what to do if the shit goes down? If she knows she's going to be arrested, if she's taken in but she's released on bail, maybe if she can get hold of her kitty winks, they go into a car with Mummy Melanie, loving Mummy Melanie, and just drive over a cliff. Because in the mind of Melani Pawlowski, that is not a dumb idea. That would probably sound like a really stellar idea. She knows she's got that backup. It's like having it's like you're doing a bit of a trapeze, but you've got a safety net under you. Why worry? There's always an out. She's learned from Auntie Lori getting put in prison. Oh, poor Auntie Lori. That's just tough luck, isn't it? Because Auntie Lori could have already moved on. She's got to stay behind and lead the gathered. So actually, Auntie Lori getting put into jail is actually ensuring that she hasn't left this mortal coil. She needs to stay here. Melani Boudreau doesn't have to. So I believe that Melani Boudreau Pawlowski should never be able to see her children because they are in mortal danger. They are in mortal danger. Her and Anna are also pregnant. Not sure when she got pregnant, but it was pillow talk on the honeymoon night when Melanie opened her heart, her mind, and her trap to N about the extent of the cult of the gathered. Now, perhaps if they weren't already pregnant, N might have just run and got an annulment, but instead he ran to the FBI. He thought, shit, do I need some protection? It's peeking out now. He could be a double, triple agent, you know. Could have gone there, then done the double turn back to say, oh no, that's all right then. It's all okay. But if he has any sense of self-preservation, he's there purely for the FBI. They're telling him, don't worry, Em will protect you. I really hope they mean it, because a little N could get carried away, couldn't he? By a powerful cultist. So this young baby, yet to be born, Melanie will feel she has complete dominion over that child. She will think it is her right to do whatever she can. She's doing that child a favour, just like her children with Brandon. I really think this little child, this innocent, naked newborn, when it's delivered into this world, I think he or she deserves to be taken from Melanie. Now, that would normally be the most cruel thing you can do to a baby, to a child, to any infant, any newborn that needs its mother, mammals, etc. And some birds. But, you know, would this child be safe? Seriously, I mean, really consider it, because no fear of death, and there's only good to look forward to. Better worlds where Melanie Boudreau would just be High Priestess Miss Piggy, wouldn't she? Of her own planet. Brought up with a chance to have a mummy who doesn't pass away when she's only 9 years old. It's, you know, it's really something to consider. And not trying to be dark and depressing, or sensationalist or anything other than realistic. There's a reason why Melanie, I mean, she's obviously in a frame of mind that few of us can understand, and she wouldn't send her children on, she would go with them. Now, I'm not a very good reader out loud, you know, is what I mean, but I'm just going to read you a prologue to Hermann Hesse's Demian. It's a masterpiece, and Dr. Timothy Leary said such dispassionate lucidity and fearless honesty. And I just want to read the prologue, so feel free to check out now if you don't want to listen to me read 1.5 pages of quite tightly printed text. I just feel like it's got a little something to say here. I cannot tell my story without going a long way back. If it were possible, I would go back much farther still, to the very earliest years of my childhood, and beyond them to my family origins. When poets write novels, they are apt to behave as if they were gods, with the power to look beyond and comprehend any human story, and serve it up as if it were the Almighty himself, omnipresent, were relating it in all its naked truth. That I am no more able to do that than the poets. But my story is more important to me than any poet's story to him, for it is my own, and it is the story of a human being, not an invented, idealized person, but a real, live, unique being. What constitutes a real, live human being is more of a mystery than ever these days, and men, each one of whom is a valuable, unique experiment on the part of nature, are shot down wholesale. If, however, we were not something more than unique human beings, and each man jack of us could really be dismissed from this world with a bullet, there would be no more point in relating stories at all. But every man is not only himself, he is also the unique, particular, always significant and remarkable point where the phenomenon of the world intersect once and for all, and never again. That is why every man's story is important, eternal, sacred, and why every man, while he lives and fulfills the will of nature, is a wonderful creature, deserving the utmost attention. In each individual, the Spirit is made flesh. In each one, the whole of creation suffers. In each one, a Saviour is crucified. Few people nowadays know what man is. Many feel it intuitively and die more easily for that reason, just as I shall die more easily when I have completed this story. I cannot call myself a scholar. I have always been and still am a seeker, but I no longer do my seeking among the stars or in books. I'm beginning to hear the lessons which whisper in my blood. Mine is not a pleasant story. It does not possess the gentle harmony of invented tales. Like the lives of all men who have given up trying to deceive themselves, it is a mixture of nonsense and chaos, madness and dreams. The life of every man is a way to himself, an attempt to attaway the suggestion of a path. No man has ever been utterly himself, yet every man strives to be so. The dull, the intelligent, each one as best he can. Each man to the end of his days carries round with him vestiges of his birth, the slime and the eggshells of the primeval world. There are many who never become human. They remain frogs, lizards, ants. Many men are human beings above and fish below. Yet each one represents an attempt on the part of nature to create a human being. We enjoy a common origin in our mothers. We all come from the same pit. But each individual, who is himself an experimental throw from the depths, strives toward his own goal. We can understand each other, but each person is able to interpret himself to himself alone.